Okay, hey guys, so this is my second attempt now at doing this. So the first time I didn't have any kind of script, I just went for it. But anyway, this is going to be a quick show and tell of my cold steel 1917 Frontier Bowie. As you can see, it's not standard. I've made a few alterations to it. So if you just want to have a quick look at that. So this is very much now my centerpiece of my collection, you might say. I've always thought that you should have a big Bowie knife if you're into knives, and you know, the one I've always wanted is the Natchez. If you're familiar with cold steel, you know the Natchez Bowie. It's you know, it's a big, awesome blade. It's you know, it's very desirable. It's one that you'd want. I've never had the money to spend on it really, so by comparison, you can get one of these for £150, round about that. You know, which is a fair price for it. It's it is one worth having. Now, there's plenty of other videos of people demonstrating them and doing reviews and things. This isn't really that. This is just going to be me showing what I've done with mine. The main problem I had with it was the original handle, which I've got here. Oh, there it is. Oh, bear with me. There we go. That's the original handle on it, which it looks like an offcut of something. It looks like it fell off something else. You know, for what you pay, it's you know, it's not bad. It's rosewood. Yeah, I wanted something a bit better than that. You can do a simple mod yourself. It's fairly easy to take off. You just undo the screws. You know, and you could go to work on it with a file or a screw or a sandpaper. Smooth the corners down a bit so it's not so blocky and heavy. You know, that would improve it. I felt I could do something a bit better, so hence this. Now with what I've done to it, I think this knife, it was about 17 inches when you buy it brand new. With the longer handle I've done, this measures at exactly 20 inches. So it is big. It is basically a short sword. And I'm very, very fond of this now. I'm very, very pleased with my work here. So this wasn't actually the first handle I did for it. The first handle I did was actually this one, which is, you see, it's kind of, you can see what I was going for. It's kind of similar. This was actually African ebony wood. It was smaller than I wanted. When I bought the wood, I didn't quite understand how the measuring system on the website worked. So the wood I got was smaller than I wanted. Rather than trying to return it, I just work with what I have. You know, this handle's okay. When it's on there, it still looks pretty cool on there. If you can imagine how that looks. And it still looks like a pretty cool traditional Bowie knife. You know, I was fairly happy with it. I still thought I could do better, but you know, buying this wood, I have got the rest of it somewhere, but it's, buying this was a gamble. Now this wood, I know I'm going to mispronounce this. I think it's called Thoyabur. I call it Thyrabur. The piece I bought, it was 2 inches by 2 inches by 12 inches. And for that I paid about £75, which is about $100, I think. So, you know, it was a gamble. I wanted to make sure I got it right, and for that reason I really, really, really took my time with it. So it's fairly straightforward construction. I did take some photos of me doing it. I didn't video it. It didn't occur to me at the time. It's fairly straightforward. When you get the old handle off, you've got the tang for the handle. You've got the middle section. You can see that's actually oak in the middle. Using a coping saw, you cut out the shape for the tang. And for me, it was quite a bit of, you know, working with the hand file, going backwards and forwards, fitting it to the tang, taking it off again, going back. Again, you know, just take your time, one stroke at a time sometimes, making sure it fit perfectly. Once it's done that, you can put one side of the handle on. You can use that then as a guide to get the holes drilled for the handle. When you've done that, you can attach the other side. And after that, again, just working slowly with the hand file. In order to get this contour line on the handle, I actually marked on with a Sharpie where I wanted it to go. And then the technique was with the file, just move away each time in either direction. And you just keep going, and that's how you get that nice, gorgeous line there. which works well. I mean, I've got fairly large hands, so for me, you know, this handle's deceptively big. I can fit 3 fingers in there very comfortably, and there's still plenty of room out the back there. It's like holding a broadsword. It's good there's enough room back here. You can hold it in a saber grip, which is good. And you know, if you hold it like in a reverse grip, like a fighting bowie, and for a large knife, I can get my hand quite tightly gripped around there, you know, and I can get a good grip on there. No one's going to get that off me. I've still got, you know, a foot of reach out there. You know, I am very proud of this. Now, obviously, for such what is now a nice knife, I wanted a nice sheath too. So I mentioned the Natchez Bowie before. Cold Steel, they used to do the Natchez and the Laredo Bowie with these fairly nice leather sheaths. Now, I wanted to recreate that. So I made this. So as you can see, I've copied the design Cold Steel used to do. It doesn't have a belt loop. You wouldn't have a belt loop on a knife this size. It would hang halfway down your leg. It would be ridiculous. But you know, you put the knife in, and it hangs on that little belt frog there in your belt. So the one thing I've done differently is where the stitching is. If you can see that, I've actually cut grooves for the stitching to sit in, so it's not going to snag or catch on anything. And I mean, I actually work in shoe repair, so for me, working with leather is something I'm quite skilled at. I've done this to the best of my ability, and you know, and that fits in there snugly. Now, bear it in mind, it doesn't fasten in place in any way. So if you hold it upside down, it is going to slide out. If you give it a bit of a shake, there we go, it will come out. You know, of course it will. It's a heavy knife, but you know, it fits in fairly well. It's not going to jump out all of a sudden. And I'm, you know, again, I'm fairly pleased with how it fits. You have to bear with me if I'm bumbling a bit, because I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not used to making videos like this. Like I say, I've had a go at doing this video before. I didn't have a script. I've made a bit of a script now. Anyway, that's it really. I might do some more videos in future. I'll do a few other bits like this. I'll do what I have to hand here. I've got my Cold Steel Norse Hawk there. Again, I've done a similar sort of sheath for that. It doesn't fasten in place. It just fits fairly well. And there's just some basic runes I've engraved into the handle. The blade itself I polished. What I've done to make it a bit more unique is the tips either side, they're called the horns, and the bottom one here, I have taken it in about ½ an inch or so, and it just gives it a bit more of a type L look, I believe it's called. You might want to correct me on that. I'm not, you know, I'm not a historian. I'm not that, you know, I'm not that up to date on it. This is just me mucking around. But you know, it complements it fairly well. Yeah, of course, I tried to the little hole in the side. I tried to fill that in with solder. It didn't really work. I'm gonna have another go at doing something with that. Anyway, just thought you might want to see that. If you're interested, you want to see more, just leave a comment. Guys, thanks for watching.